Hello friends, happy Thursday. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I'm trying to see if there's any way here that I can put maybe, I don't know. I wanted to put the passage here somewhere, but I can't. I don't think it'll let me, but it's all good. Yes, hope you guys are having a great day so far. I thought about maybe going live. Hey Brenda. Thought about maybe going live outside. It's a beautiful day, but yes, I just had to do it here in the house. So let's get started. Today I'm not going to share with you guys the verse of the day just because I really want to share with you guys just some things that, I have been reading in my quiet time. And so let's do it. I've been going through the book of John. And today I started reading chapter 12. And honestly, I'm taking my time. There is no rush. I love taking, my sweet time with each verses and actually understanding the meaning in each verse and each passage. A lot of the gospels are just like stories of Jesus and his ministry, and I feel like a lot of times we miss it because we're like, oh yeah, we've already read it, I already know what's gonna happen. But I went through a story that I felt like I read before, but I read through it today and I was like, I don't remember this story, exactly going this way. And it was God kind of just like pausing and saying, pay attention at what you're reading and pay attention at what I'm trying to tell you, through this story. So the story is actually in chapter 12, verses 1 through 10. Okay, so I thought of just kind of letting you guys know what the story is, and I'm like, you know what, let me read it because it's really not that long. So I'm gonna read it, and then you guys are gonna let me know if you guys remember it this way, because I don't remember the story going this way, and that's what it says in the Bible. So let's get to it. It says, Jesus anointed at Bethany. Okay. Again, John chapter 12, verses 1 through 10. It says, 6 days after the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, where Lazarus lived, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. So the passage before was when Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. Here, a dinner was given in Jesus' honor. Martha served, while Lazarus was among those reclining at the table with him. So remember, it was Lazarus, and he had two sisters, Mary and Martha. And Martha was the one who was always busy doing things, but Mary was the one who was at Jesus' feet. And Martha's the one like, Jesus, can you go tell Mary to please come help me because people are coming and I need to cook and I need to clean the house. And Jesus said, no, she has chosen the best, okay? Then Mary took about a pint, which is about like a pound, of pure nard, an expensive perfume. She poured it on Jesus' feet and wiped his feet with her hair, while the house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But one of his disciples, Judas, who was later to betray him, objected. Why wasn't this perfume sold and the money given to the poor? It was worth a year's wages. He did not say this because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. As keeper of the money bag, he used to help himself to what was put in it. Okay, so he was the one who kept the finances when it came to like the disciples, and he would just have his way with that money. I guess people would give them offerings or I don't know what, and he would have his way with it. So verse 7, leave her alone, Jesus replied. It was intended that she would save this perfume for the day of my burial. You will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me. Sorry, that was up to verse 8. It wasn't up to verse 10. It was verse 8. So I honestly do not remember reading the story. Why? Because in my idea, I remember reading about Jesus being anointed and his feet being anointed with perfume by somebody, but they never said their names, and I remember the story went where the Pharisees were the ones who were like, hey, why is she breaking that perfume? We could have sold it for like 300 denarii and fed the poor. But I have never heard it, or I guess I have, but I don't remember it, where it was actually Mary, Lazarus' sister. And if it was actually Judas, the one who said, hey, why are we breaking this perfume and pouring it when we can sell it? And I was a little taken back. I was like, So according to some sources that I looked up, apparently this story had happened before. Like Mary did it, but I think it was in the book of Luke, it talked about another woman doing this, all right? And they thought it might have been Mary Magdalene. But either way, apparently looking at all the four gospels, this had happened before. And sometimes some theologians think it might have been that maybe some facts might have been mixed up here and there, or it wasn't too clear. But either way, I don't remember it being Mary, Martha's sister, or Lazarus' sister. And I kind of got a little taken back, and there was three things that really stuck out to me in this story, and that's what I want to share with you guys today. So the first thing that stood out to me was the fact that it was Mary, the Mary that, you know what I'm saying, we actually look up to, and the Mary that Jesus had said, between Mary and Martha, Mary had done the right thing because she loved Jesus. Not that Martha didn't, but she had this thing where Jesus was her number one. And it was, her brother who Jesus had rose from the dead. It was Lazarus. And before this, in chapter 11, we see that Lazarus was dead for like 4 days. And in that passage, it said, when he got news that Lazarus was dead, Jesus loved him. And because he loved him, he stayed another 2 days. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And it was because he really wanted to make this miracle in their lives. So it was important for Jesus was important for Martha for that reason. She knew he was the Son of God. She knew he was Jesus himself, Jesus Christ, their long-awaited Savior. And she was in love with him in that sense. Not like in a romantic, no, as in like, you are my God and you are here. And so this was her. And it sounds like it was so natural for her to do this, where to anoint his feet with perfume and with this expensive oil, because to her, he's like, this is my Jesus. He is worth everything. So he is so, loved to me that I don't mind breaking this perfume, because holds that much value in my heart and my life. And I remember reading through this and I'm like, Lord, I want to be that Mary. You know what I'm saying? Not just because she chose the best when she was with, her sister Martha, and Martha was being all busy. I feel like a lot of times I'm Martha. I am like a busy freak where I'm just like planning and I'm like, no, this needs to get done. And a lot of times, and I told this to a friend, a lot of times I feel like I am a Martha dressed as Mary, because I feel like I like fool people, because you're like, oh, Annie is just so, perfect and so holy. And I feel like inside of my heart, I'm not. I'm such a Martha. So I see Mary and I'm like, God, I want to be like Mary. I really do. Like, she understands the value of Jesus, where she was the one who was at his feet, learning from him when they came over to his house. And now she's like, you're so worthy that I'm giving you this perfume. I'm pouring it on your feet. I'm using my hair to wipe your feet. You know what I'm saying? And maybe even kiss his feet, I'm thinking, because she knew his value. Not only did he come to save her, but he also loved her in such a specific way he resurrected her brother. You know what I'm saying? That he would go out of his way to honestly make sure that, he did die, to then show how in love he was with her by saying, I'm going to resurrect your brother. It's just something so unique there that I'm just like, Lord, I want that. I want to be a Mary, So that stuck out to me, that it was her, and tracing it back at her story and her history with Jesus, that this was just appropriate for her to do, Let me see. There's a picture here that I found online. Maybe I can, I know that you're able to, here. Can you guys see it? So it's so pretty because you see Jesus. This is obviously when you have like Mary and Martha. And you can see I found that on Pinterest because you see it in the bottom. But you see Mary at his feet, and then you see Martha off like to the side, where she's like, hello, can you please like come help me? But yeah, my prayer is that I want to be a Mary, just like, she loved Jesus, that she took the time to do that. So can I take this down? There we go. Oh, wow. Oh, it stays up here. That's so cool. All right, let's leave it right there. And then the second thing that stood out to me was that Judas was the one who saw this, and he was just like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is she breaking this? We can totally sell this and feed the poor. And I never, realized that it was him in this story. And in the other stories, there were Pharisees who saw this and they were like, why would she do this? Like, It's something honorable to say, I want to go feed the poor, right? And just to be the devil's advocate here, I kind of get why, people would be like, wait, what's going on? Like, we could really use this money. Let's think about this. People that are very like rational, like we could, you don't have to, let's give her another perfume that's not as expensive or whatever, but give me that one so I can sell it and we could feed the poor. Something so humanitarian, so I say. And I remember going through that and I'm thinking like, man, I'm so bad that I think like, hey, that's actually not even like a really bad idea. Like, we need to feed the poor. We need to, but over here and looking at this, in the outside, it seemed like it was something honorable. But then when you look at who said it and his intentions, and it says it right here, he was a thief. Judas was a thief. So that's why he was like, no. We need to go sell it to give it to the poor, when here it says that he was just like getting his little stash from, the money that they were getting, the disciples. And I'm over here thinking like, man, how many times have we done something that is good, has good intentions for people to see, and people see it and they're like, oh, that's such a good thing. But our heart is like in the wrong, you know what I'm saying? And we are doing it for the wrong motives. In the book of Proverbs, it says God weighs our hearts, and right here, and Jesus knew it. Jesus knew who Judas was and how his intentions were not pure and how he was very selfish and he wanted for himself. And I'm like, wow, God, I want everything that I do that is good, to others. First of all, let it be good to you because you're watching me and you're seeing my heart and you see my intentions. I want it to be, I want my intentions to be pure. So whenever I do something that is good, it could be counted as bad because of where I'm at and how I'm probably doing it to be selfish. So that stood out to me where I was just like, oh my goodness, this noble thing that seemed, to be good because, the disciples might have agreed with him, was actually something that was very selfish and was very, not honorable. So I'm just like, Lord, please, like, I want to be a Mary, and I want to be someone that whenever I do something like humanitarian or whatever, anything that's good, anything in my church or for my kids, it's not does what Jesus said, because Jesus said, leave her alone, leave Mary alone. It was intended that she would save this perfume for the day of my burial. I mean, he was already foretelling that the fact that he was going to be, crucified. He says, you will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me. And this, again, is something that Mary understood. We live in a fallen world. So because we live in a fallen world, there will always be poverty. Always. And feeding them is a good thing. But in the grand scheme of things, we need to understand where Jesus ranks. And Jesus always ranks above any good thing that we can think of, any good action, anything that even sounds honorable. God is for us, being, being concerned with humanitarian issues and feeding the poor and etc. And yes, but we need to understand that he is even above that, So I love it says, for you will always have the poor among you, but you will not always have me. And Jesus' value is just above anything. And again, it's not that, feeding the poor is something bad, but compared to Jesus, it should be considered, bad. Not that it's bad, but compared to Jesus, Jesus holds that higher rank. And Mary understood that. And in my life of like busyness and doing things that are good, I want to learn to value Jesus above all that. So is it good for me to wake up and feed my kids? Absolutely. Is it good for me to obviously like clean my house and like shower and eat? Yes. But Jesus is above all of that. So I should absolutely carve out time. Primarily my priority should be Jesus. You know what I'm saying? So so that also stood out to me too. And I love how even simple stories that I feel like we've heard over and over, I challenge you, read them and say, Lord, what can you speak to me? And he will. Even in stories that we've heard, if we grew up in church like Jonah, like David and Goliath, like go deeper. Lord, I'm going to read this story and I'm going to read it every day until something sticks out and you speak to me specifically. That's kind of what I've been doing lately. So yeah, guys, that's about it. If you're just tuning in now, we talked about the book of John, chapter 12, verses 1 through 8, not 1 through 10, 1 through 8. And I share with you guys, some things have popped out. So this video will be up for the next 24 hours so you guys can see it. I'm so glad that nobody that came on here, gave like really, inappropriate comments like I did yesterday. We don't want that. But yeah, that's about it. Have an amazing day. Love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.